Good evening, good Monday evening to you out there. It's just me right now. Willy Gibson is having problems, technical issues. So I went ahead and started. Not sure of how long the show will be. I'm not sure if Brother Gibson will be able to join this evening on this episode of 128 of Folks Talking Sports. But welcome. I'm, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Give me your comments, what you want to talk about, and I'll respond as I do, and give my thoughts and opinions on a few topics. Game 5, how do I do that? Game 5 of the NBA Finals starts in about an hour, 20 minutes or so. Boston Celtics lead the series 3-1. Dallas Mavericks got off the mat in Game 4 and routed Boston. Boston looked disinterested, like they didn't want to sweep. Mavs said, "You're not going to sweep us here." We're much more aggressive, played much faster tempo, took it to Boston. Boston was really just like, yeah, whatever, okay. Luka played great. Luka played inspired defense, which I've said for a while. Defense is effort. College, pro, high school, it's effort. It's want to. You have to want to play defense. You have to take that challenge upon yourself to play defense. Luka, I know he's a hell of an offensive talent, and sometimes he rests on defense, and he does not take that challenge upon himself defensively. He did in Game 4. Let's see what he does in Game 5. Boston has announced that big man Kristaps Porzingis is available to play Game 5. I'm not sure if he will or not. I think he was available for Game 4. Didn't play. His absence is noticeable defensively with his skill set offensively. Sometimes Boston, they go too one-on-one, too much one-on-one, too many jacking up threes, too many just no pass offense. And sometimes you just need to get the ball to the paint, get it to the post. Kristaps can do that. He's available Game 5. Let's see if he plays Game 5. What are your thoughts on that? Will Dallas force a Game 6 and bring the series back to Dallas on Thursday? Or will Boston win title number 18 in franchise history, winning Game 5 tonight in Boston? Talk some WNBA. I want to get Willy Gibson's on this, Brother Gibson's comments on this. As of today, it's only 15 games into the season for the Indiana Fever. But last show, episode 127, I said it doesn't look likely that Indiana would make the playoffs. Well, as of today, June 17th, the Indiana Fever are in the 8th and final spot in the standings of the regular season, which means they would make the playoffs. Sunday's win over the Chicago Sky, they're 5-10. The Fever are 5-10. The Sky is 4-9. Chicago's lost 4 in a row. The LA Sparks have lost 3 in a row. The Dallas Wings have lost 7 in a row. Ironically, the team with the worst record in the W, the Washington Mystics, have won 2 in a row to improve to a grandiose 2-12. But they're not far from the teams on losing streaks. So we shall see. Indiana's won 2 straight. Caitlin Clark was close to a triple-double in the 8-point win over the Sky on Sunday. Stuff in that stat sheet: 23 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks. She did have 5 turnovers, but hey, it's all right. She was efficient from the floor, 7 for 11, 3 of 7 from 3, 6 for 6 from the foul line. Aaliyah Boston, 19 points on 9 for 13 field goal shooting, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 blocks, 3 turnovers. Kelsey Mitchell, 17 points. Alyssa Smith, 15 points. That's 4 of your 5 starters in double figures. That balanced effort. It's like Indiana's beginning to figure things out. It's amazing what you can do when you get a chance to practice with your teammates and not travel around the country over and over again the first 11 games of the season. We'll see how that goes forward. Your thoughts on the Angel Reese foul, the flagrant 1 foul in the game against Caitlin Clark. Your thoughts on the non-call against Las Vegas's Kelsey Plum in Saturday's game against the Liberty. I got to say this. I did not watch Saturday's game. I was working all day. The election is part of one of my jobs that I do. Got to pay the bills. So I missed the game. I saw the clip of it. How do 3 WNBA referees miss that foul? How do you miss that horse collar by Miss Nyjah Laney Hamilton against Kelsey Plum? How do you miss that? Somebody needs to be in position, have the right angle to see that obvious foul. WNBA officiating is not good. NBA officiating is not great. College officiating is not great. What's going on? Is it too many inexperienced officials calling the game now? Too many of the vets have retired, taking that experience, that knowledge, the ability to control a game, the ability to be in the right spot, to see fouls and make the right calls. Obviously you have to call what you see, but if you did not see that foul against Kelsey Plum, you're in the wrong spot. Get in the right spot to see that foul. The baseline official, where were you? What were you looking at? So that's something I want to talk about. We can talk about the race issue between Angel Reese, that some folks like to bring up with Caitlin Clark, try to make Caitlin Clark a paragon of, I don't know what, white superiority or something. And Caitlin Clark squashed that, as she should, and kudos for her doing it. People trying to use her to, I don't know, the folks who do those kind of things, just more and more, they need to be squashed. They need to be called out. But those folks those folks are further proof that there is still a race problem in America. Some folks ignore it, choose to ignore it, keep your head in the sand. That's on you. But it still exists. So that's a problem, but it's reality. Caitlin Clark is a hell of a player. Period. She's not a hell of a white player. She's a hell of a player. Period. Angel Reese, I think Angel had a double-double in the game against the Fever. Didn't shoot well. 4 for 13 from the floor. But she did have 11 points and 13 rebounds and 5 assists and 2 steals and 1 block shot. So she is playing better. Chicago made a change to their starting 5. After head coach Teresa Weatherspoon said the game before, don't ask me about making any changes. Well, Texas A&M alum Kennedy Carter started the game against the Fever. Miss Dana Evans came off the bench. Kennedy scored 18 points in her 28 minutes, 8 for 14 from the floor, had 4 fouls, 4 assists, but it wasn't enough as Chicago lost to Indiana 91-83. Chicago is now 4-9 on the season. Indiana is 5-10 on the season and currently in that 8th spot for the playoffs. Playoffs, yes, playoffs. Haven't heard anything about how Jamal Shead's workout went with the Rockets on Friday. Salute to Houston Cougar head coach Kelvin Sampson for bringing it up, mentioning it Thursday during his media session, because if he had not mentioned it, most likely the majority of the local media would not have known about it, because the Rockets media, the Rockets personnel, front office is so hush and close to the vest about workouts and making players available to the media to answer questions about how the workout went. What is that hurting? What is the problem with that? Other NBA teams allow media to talk to the players after their workout. I don't know why the Rockets don't do that. It's not some trade secret. Oh, well, we don't want people to know. You don't want your fans to know who you're working out, to get them excited about possible draft picks, possible players you brought in, that discussion, that interest. Y'all do y'all. But I don't know, whatever. That's a team choice. That's a team choice. I don't understand. I look around and I see other teams making their draft prospects available to the media. Rockets don't do it, but that's okay, whatever. Taking a sip of some water out of my folks Talking Sports mug. Get yours today. Thank you for everybody watching on YouTube and Twitter. YouTube, 2 channels. First, of course, is the original Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. Then the baby of the media group is Folks Talking Sports YouTube channel. Subscribe to both. Thank you to those folks who signed up as new subscribers last few days on the Folks Talking Sports YouTube channel. Got a long way to go to get to the following numbers on the original, but it's okay. Got to keep hitting that rock, as Coach Sampson said to me last year. I will do so. You can follow on Twitter, Folks Talk Sports. On Twitter, X, Musk, whatever, Folks Talk Sports. Do that as well. IG and Threads, Folks Talking Sports. A little bit different. I spend more time on those 2 platforms posting content to Folks Talking Sports, so that as well. Sign up, follow the show for content on those platforms also. Again, Brother Willy Gibson was trying to log in, trying to get into and join the show. Hasn't been able to so far, so that might shorten this show because I already had some questions for him. I want to get his thoughts on who the Cavs have brought in for workouts and who the Cavs are close to hiring for head coach. Willy Gibson said last show, he mentioned that the Cavs were bringing in James Borrego for a second interview. And lo and behold, that was true. Mr. Gibson does not lie here on FTS. He covers the Cavs. He has sources too. So you heard that here. If you watched the show, you heard it here first. So he is knowledgeable. I want to also get his thoughts on the Big 12 and Commissioner Yormark's money endeavors, financial endeavors, the naming rights, possible agreement with Allstate, agreement deal. Where give me your thoughts on this. Everybody watching, chime in with the comments. The All-State Conference, renaming the Big 12 to possibly the All-State Conference, where All-State pays the conference between $30 and $50 million annually, and that money will be divided up to the member schools. So you're looking at $2 to $3 million to each school, and that money would go to paying the student assets as part of the revenue sharing agreement that universities, the presidents, have agreed to for the next 10 years. Revenue sharing is coming to college, big time, semi-pro college athletics. Has to be agreed to by Judge Wilkin, I believe. She has to sign off on it. And I also think that the NCAA members are going to have to do some agreeing and negotiating with the players. Here he's looking dapper. Look at him, dapper. That's what it was. He texted me about having technical issues and stuff. That's not true. He wanted to get clean for the show. That's what it was. Look at this. Look at this, audience. Look at this.
Cut it out.
That's what it was. He wanted to come on clean and put me to shame. See, I'm coming from back working in the yard, got on a t-shirt and stuff, but he's coming in with Look at that. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, sir. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Touching on this, we're gonna work backwards. Now that you're here, how do the Cleveland Cavaliers, handle draft prospects? Is media allowed to interview them? Do you know who they are?
After the fact. We find out after the fact.
Find out from them, from the team, or from who?
Depends. It depends.
Okay. On what?
Who you know.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
No, that's true, because I wanted to compare, like the Pacers.
Yeah.
They allow media to talk to their draft prospects. I think a handful of other teams do. The Rockets don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I bring all that up because I was curious how they handled it. Houston Cougar, Jamal Shead, worked out for the Rockets on Friday. Kelvin Sampson told the media during his Zoom call on Thursday about it. If he had not mentioned that, none of us would have known.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jamal was on campus. That was the last day for the Cougs had their youth camp, elite camp. You know, every team does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jamal was there, and he spoke to us, and he said, I mean, he was already out there. So he said, yeah, I'm working out for the Rockets on Friday. That Rockets were his 12th team that he worked out for. So he did not remember all 12. So he did not want to spurn the team, but he did say the Rockets would be his 12th workout. So that's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how it went. I'm assuming it, but he did say this. One thing he said, the team that he has worked out for have told him, you need to improve your outside shot. You know, being straightforward with him, you need to improve your outside shot. And you know, the truth, as he said to us and anyone who follows the Cougar men's program, Kelvin Sampson does not sugarcoat anything. So so Jamal is saying, hearing the truth from the team, I'm used to the truth. I heard it for 4 straight years, so it's no shock to me. So yes, I need to work on my shot, and I'll do so. And he's looking forward to being drafted or going to the best team, because signs do point to him being drafted, but there is a chance that he might not get drafted. And if it happens, he can just go, he and his agent. I think sometimes it's better for you to be a free agent. If you don't get drafted, that way you can pick a team to give you the best chance to fit. Mr. Gibson, I have wanted to pick your brain on this since Thursday.
Okay.
Brett Yarmark.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. The Allstate Big 12. What is it? Come
on. What are your thoughts on it? The Allstate, could be just the Allstate Conference or the Allstate 12. What are your thoughts on it? The naming rights for that.
I mean, he's a businessman. I mean, I get it. I mean, we're talking about it.
Right?
I'm not a fan, but...
Why aren't you a fan?
I'm just not a fan. No, I'm a traditionalist in most respects. And the game is evolving. The platform, the things aren't going to be the same. I get it. And I'm not get off my lawn guy. I'm, get the bag, no question. But, and I guess in order to provide the bag, some conferences have to do things such as this to generate the revenue to provide said bag. I'm just not a fan. I'm a traditionalist. I fought for years. The granddaddy of them all is the Rose Bowl, the Big 10 and the Pac-10. Now it's the Big 18 and the Pac-4. But I get it.
Oh, Willie, now it's Pac-2.
Oh, yeah, the Pac-2.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I understand. And I'm going a different route. This plus the discussions with the private equity people, the CVC group. It's not, some of my colleagues have said it's because to compete with the Big Ten and the SEC. No, I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
It's to make sure his member schools have the money to pay the student assets for the revenue sharing. That's what this is for. Sure. Because the naming rights, Big Ten and the SEC, they're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. I mean, we're traditionalists and things do change about it, but that's not happening. Those conferences are much older, more established, and they are brand. What are you going to say?
Although I will say this, and I can bring it up later, Ohio State did something today that I never thought they would do. But,
what's that?
In 2025, they agreed with UConn. UConn.
Oh, yeah.
UConn was scheduled to come in here October 18th, 2025. They have agreed to not play that game. And now on September 6th, Grambling State will be coming to the Horseshoe.
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah. And the thing about that is it was years ago that Ohio State under Gene Smith was an unwritten rule. They agreed they would not play any 1AA teams.
Oh, okay.
At that time, it was 1AA. Now we understand. Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gene, what's today? Today is what, the 17th?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
13 days from now, Gene Smith will no longer be the athletic director at Ohio State. Ross Bjork will be the athletic director at Ohio State. So I think this is a Ross Bjork move. And I understand. I get it. Next year could be a potential 15, 16 game season. So do you want to play UConn? Which UConn probably wouldn't be that much of a challenge. Or do, as you know, I like to call them, provide a check game, bring in Grambling, provide them, I don't know, 1.7, 2 million, whatever. I don't know the number as of yet.
Okay, yeah. So that has not been announced yet.
Has not been announced yet.
Yep.
But I do know in years past there had been schools and the number had been around that. So do you provide that number and allow Grambling State to come in? I understand this. So that's my only thing. Against Grambling.
I mean, yeah. Never say never.
Yeah.
Okay. It's unlikely that the Big Ten and SEC would sell for naming rights for the names of their conferences.
Right.
Unlikely. Okay.
Right.
Never say never.
Never.
I think the check game for Grambling State is great.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for them, for the band. The band's coming, I hope. Has that been said? The band's coming too?
Oh, I haven't heard that yet.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But it'll be great for Buckeyes fans to see the band. Yep. And Grambling State alums, hasn't been like it used to be, when we were growing up. But their fans, they travel. They travel. So,
and Ohio has two HBCUs ourselves, Central State and Wilberforce.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Columbus. When I first came to Columbus some years ago, they had the not a Circle City Classic, the Capital City Classic, where Central State would come and play a game at the Horseshoe.
Okay.
Another HBCU
mm-hmm.
On Ohio State off weekend, maybe the weekend before Labor Day, which at that time major college football wasn't being played.
Right.
And that would be the Capital City Classic. It would be Central State versus Langston University, or Central State versus Cheney State, or what have you. And the Battle of the Bands, things of that nature, the entire weekend. A classic.
Yeah.
So it was. So that's interesting, and I'm glad to see that. Like you said, exposure that Grambling State, those young men, that program. For personal reasons, interesting that Hugh Jackson is not the coach anymore, but I'll leave it there. It'll be interesting. It'll be good for that program, and good for those young men.
Is it just a 1 year thing right now?
As of right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good. It's a check game.
Yeah.
The chance for the Buckeyes, younger third and fourth string players to play.
And like I said, with the 12-team playoff now and the potential of a 15, 16 game season, as you said, the the third and the fourth string will get a chance to play, and you preserve your starters if you will, and hopefully escape that game with no injuries. That you can provide that, give them a little more rest later on in the season, November, December, and now January.
September 6th. So would that be 0 week?
No, we actually open up at Texas.
Oh.
0. Yeah,
okay.
week 0 at Texas.
Huh,
and then it's at Texas. Then now it's Grambling. That was previously a bye week. So it's at Texas, Grambling, Ohio University, and then I believe it's Marshall. Okay. I believe. All
right. Mr. Gibson.
Yes, sir.
Any thoughts on the horrible officiating in the WNBA? Boy, that was a meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
I think it's gotten worse.
I agree.
And why do you think that is?
I think with exposure came, I don't think they were ready for the exposure, if I could say it like that, because it's always been bad.
Yes.
But now eyes are upon it. And so now it's being magnified.
And this is kind of funny / sad.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Malloy is an NBA ref.
Yep.
Okay. He started officiating in the W.
Okay.
Before being promoted to the NBA. During his time as a ref in the W, I remember clearly, I don't remember what game it was, but I remember clearly Comets head coach Van Chancellor saying about Ed Malloy, he has to be the worst referee in the W.
Wow.
And to me, every time I see him, Ed, in the NBA, I think back to what Coach Chancellor, because he was bad in the W. Well, he just was not good. His calls, the angles. So when he got the call to the NBA, I was like, what in the hell? Are y'all serious? Have y'all seen what this man does in the WNBA?
Right. Wow.
Man, It is bad. Timothy Taylor, thank you for chiming in. And it's a good question. I said this before you joined, Brother Gibson. Officiating is bad in the NBA. It's gotten worse.
Yep.
It's gotten worse in college.
Yep.
I think, and you give me your thoughts on this, I think a big factor in it is the old school refs have retired.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of younger, inexperienced officials who just aren't used to the pace, the calls, how to control a game. What say you, sir?
Scott Foster hadn't retired. I kid.
And he's one of the highest graded officials. Yet he's other folks are wondering, like, how is that possible?
Wow. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Back in the day, I mean, and I know the adage you should know a ref's name and you know the ref's name, and that's a problem. But I mean, what? Daryl Garrettson and Hugh Hollins and Earl Strom.
Loved Earl Strom.
Yeah. So, as you said, those guys, but then, a lot of it, unfortunately, with the whole Tim Donaghy situation, and even with if you go back a little further than that, the travel situation.
Yep.
With the, rebates on first class tickets and what have you. So, yeah, that kind of depleted the roster, so to speak. But like you said, now you have some guys. I'm at the games like in Cleveland, and I'm looking like, okay, now Zach Zarba, but then you see the two other people with him, and it's like, who?
Yeah.
Who? Like, he should be like, with all due respect, the look is this is a CYO ref, a Saturday.
Go back to Timothy's question. They're coming from the G League.
Yeah.
That's where they're coming from.
Yeah.
They're coming from the G League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the roster has to be replenished quickly. But it's almost like an oxymoron. It can't be replenished quickly because you want to have good refs, but as you said, the G League is the proving ground. So.
And the female refs, they're inexperienced.
Yeah.
So combine them with the male refs who are also inexperienced, you have a completely inexperienced crew calling NBA games, calling WNBA games, and you have to be in the right position.
Yes.
You have your line of sight. It's a 3-person crew. They have to complement each other in the line of sight and the angles. Because the Kelsey Plum foul, the non-call foul Saturday against Liberty, how could you miss that? I mean, so the baseline ref clearly was blocked by bodies, I guess, and didn't see it. Well, that means somebody outside free throw, half court on the sidelines, you need to be in the right spot.
Yeah.
And they weren't. So that's a failure by 3 people. And that happens too often in the W. It still happens in the NBA. It happens in college. You know, the block shard stuff is a big problem there. But I'm shifting gears. Yep. Game 5 tonight, sir. It's about 50 minutes away.
Yep.
Is it over tonight, sir?
No. David Adam Silver. They need numbers.
They start making money in game 6 and 7.
You knew where I was.
That's what the people say.
You knew so I've heard.
Right.
But no, I think it's not. And I think cheeks get tight in Boston because if Dallas wins tonight, there's a game 7. You're not going home to lose game 6 if you're Dallas. So if they win tonight, there is a game 7, and then all bets are off at that point.
All right. Let me say hi to Thrillo. Thrillo, how you doing? A proud alum of Texas Southern University. I'm going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's over tonight. It's done in game 5.
All right.
I have your logic is sound. Boston's no-show in game 4. I mean, that's what it was. It was like they didn't even want to sweep.
Right.
You know, like they put such a little effort into game 4. It's like, yeah, we'll just go back to the crib and get done in game 5.
Right.
Their performance in game 4 is why I thought the series would go 7, because you knew Boston would just lay an egg at some point in this series. Well, they laid it in game 4. It was an ostrich-sized egg, or whatever the largest dinosaur egg was in prehistoric times, because it was massive.
Yep.
We'll see. But what was different in game 4? What did Dallas do differently in game 4, in your opinion?
I think, to quote Shaq, the other showed up. Dante Exum balled his face off. And he done that.
Salute to him, because you and I and one of our audience members said, was the last week, about Dante Exum should not be playing ahead of Tim Hardaway Jr.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It was us. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, they showed up. And I think it was a combination. It was that. And I think Boston, like you said, you know, they're like, I was talking to a friend during the game in a text group, and he said, well, they didn't really want to win this game. They just wanted to clinch it at home. I said, okay, you can tell me that if you lose by 12, if you lose by 8, they lost by 40.
Right. Yep.
38. You know, exactly. But no, that's not, we just want to clinch at home. That happens if you lose by 12. 14.
Yeah, they didn't care.
They didn't care. Yeah, that no.
What are your thoughts on this from Timothy Taylor? A team with no all defensive team players will not win 4 straight games after down 3 games.
They're not going to need all defensive players if Boston, because we've seen Boston do this. We've seen Boston do this, so it's not going to take all defensive effort from Dallas.
The Mavs played faster pace. Luka actually gave a damn on defense, and you know how I feel about defense. Defense is effort.
Yep.
Defense is want to, and I know Luka is all world on offense. I know that.
Yep.
And he takes defense off. Okay.
Yep.
And to me, that's what separates elite players from Luka.
Yep.
Elite players get it done on offense and defense. And that's what makes superstars elite. That's why, to me, I'm an old head. I admit it. There's not a lot. There are very few elite players in today's NBA. Guys who get it done on offense and defense.
Correct.
Luka gets it done on offense. What he did in game 4, he put forth that effort. If he does that game in, game out on a consistent basis, then he could become an elite player on both ends of the floor. He can do it.
Yeah, he can do it. Yeah, we can do it. Let me ask you this. Did you hear Jayson Tatum during media availability yesterday?
I didn't.
He just, and it's not new. He's been doing it all playoffs. He's like, well, it's not the end of the world if we don't win game 5. We'll have more chances to win. I'm like, bruh, that's why they say you're not a closer, because you say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, what? What are you talking about? You like our job is to finish. Job's not done. We got to go in here at home. If you don't have incentive to close it at home in game 5, after what you just did Friday night.
Yeah, he's I guess in a sense he's trying not to make it bigger than basketball. So I kind of get it. But you as an all NBA player, you as the leader of the team, there's some stuff you just should not say to the public. Okay.
Yes.
You just don't do that. Just don't say those things. If Boston wins and they give JT finals, which I doubt, I don't think he's doing unless he has a hell of a game 5. Jaylen Brown, JP, he would be furious because he's had a better series than Jayson Tatum, But Tatum, and what was it? It was game 3. He was mic'd up. And he said how, hey, we got to attack the basket, beat him off the dribble, stop settling for jumpers, me included.
Yep.
And then game 4, what did his ass do?
All he did.
That's all he did was set up for jumpers.
And complain to Scott Foster.
And that too. Oh, my goodness.
Bruh.
He was Luka.
Yes.
In game 4. Every perceived foul. I got foul, ref. And he stand back. Well, Dallas races down the floor.
Yep.
Crying to the refs. Man,
yep.
I'm going to say this. How old is Jayson?
26.
26. Luka's 25. Both of y'all are old enough to know better.
Yep.
I'm going to say it in much more plain English right now. So kids, parents, cover your kids' ears. You two are grown-ass men. Stop crying. I'm going to say something else. Stop bitching to the refs and play basketball.
Yeah.
Hey, star, you looking for star treatment, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to get every call. So stop acting like you deserve every call. And stop hurting your team as you either stay down on the court, on the floor, shaking your head, man, I thought I was fouled, man. Or standing in the back.
Yep.
Or doing this or what. Bust your behind down the floor and help your team.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness gracious. But okay. So you're saying Dallas is going to win tonight?
I am.
Okay. And then you're saying Dallas will win Thursday in Game 6.
I am. And then we'll see you Sunday.
Okay. All right. I'm saying it's going to end tonight.
Hey, now, selfishly, to kind of go in a different direction, I'd love for it to end tonight so I can see how quickly Kobe Altman puts that extension on the table for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, because teams can, discuss, negotiate with their own free agents once the finals end.
Yes.
Porzingis is available to play tonight.
And there's no minutes restriction.
But that does not mean he will play.
Yeah.
Because he was available in Game 4.
Yeah.
But he didn't, So we'll see. It's amazing. I'm saying it's amazing. It's surprising to me how the Celtics training staff has okayed him to be available because his injury is so unique, but the recovery time for it, wasn't it 6 to 8 weeks?
Allegedly,
right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm interested also, speaking to your own free agents after the finals, speaking of Jayson Tatum, 5 years, $315 is on the table. And I gotta research the second apron. Because, okay, you just gave Jaylen Brown $300 million. Now
I don't believe they'll be at it until next summer.
Okay.
All right. If they're not this summer, they will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Then Drew got 167?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
And Kristaps making a healthy hunk too. All that. Oh yeah. Yeah.
The math ain't math.
And Derek White wants
coming up.
Look, so yeah. So if it's not this summer, it's coming. So no question. Yeah.
Okay. It's not just me, because I'm like, the math ain't mathing.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. But okay.
Mr. Gibson, I want to give you a chance. I fell on my sword a second time earlier.
Okay.
As of June 17th, and clearly the season is not over today.
Mm-hmm.
But as of today, the Indiana Fever would be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Last Monday, we said they would not make the playoffs. They won 2 in a row. The teams behind them have lost. I looked at this. This is our teams. Look at this, Will. Chicago's lost 4 straight. Los Angeles has lost 3 straight. Dallas has lost 7 straight. So that's the team that's helped Indiana a 2-game streak, winning streak. They're now on the 8th spot.
Yep.
I mean, the Mystics will.
They won again.
Have won 2 in a row.
2 in a row, yeah.
So they're now 2-12. So yes, I called out. I questioned the Caitlin Clark fans. What would y'all do when the Fever don't make the playoffs? Well, the Fever might take advantage of the teams behind them and make the playoffs. So
yeah, and I think it was inevitable for them. They started out. We talked about it. 11 games in 20 days, and they played the Liberty 3 of those, and they played Chicago.
I think they played Connecticut 3 times too. Something like
yeah, it's like I get it. We all know what it is, but now that they've gotten settled, and they got 4 days off, and what happened? They got to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think now what they played Atlanta, and then they played Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah. So they play teams they can beat on paper. That they're on the same level, if not a little better than.
And they won. If I recall, they beat Atlanta. Caitlin Clark only had 7 points.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And she bounced back after that. Sunday, she had 23, 8, and 9 against Angel Reese. Angel had 11 and 13.
Yep.
But Caitlin Clark was 7 for 11 from the floor.
Yep. I think Camila Cardoso had a double-double as well, if I remember properly.
Let me see. I think I have that box score still.
12, something like that?
She had 10 and 10.
10 and 10, okay.
Mm-hmm. So Camila and Angel both had double-doubles. Neither shot 50% from the floor, but neither are great shooters. They're evolving shooters, and Angel Reese neither has great range. Angel is not a great shooter past, honestly, 8 feet.
Yeah.
Yet. But
Timothy
right. Says most of the W is mediocre. The Liberty won the 5 games. They finished the 5 games of the WNBA Commissioner Cup undefeated. They're going to play the Minnesota Lynx, who are 4-1 in the Commissioner Cup, on next Tuesday, 25th. Yeah, 25th at UBS Arena, not at Barclays, Liberty's usual home, because the draft is next Wednesday and Thursday. Round 1 on Wednesday, round 2 on Thursday. So they had to change locations, change venues for the championship of the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup. Winners, I think, splits, I want to say $500,000. I think that's right.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Nice hunk of change there for, for them. And doesn't mean much to folks like Thrillo and Mr. Taylor. That's just probably shoe money for them. Yeah. But, folks like you and me, that's a big deal. It's big, big money for that. Sure. But, okay. I think that's about it. I just want to get your thoughts on, who will the Cavs hire as head coach, sir?
I think it's James Borrego. He was in Cleveland. Remember last week I said after
you said yes,
turned down the Lakers, Cleveland should be on Borrego this week. Well, actually, he was in Cleveland on Tuesday. That's how quick they were.
So salute to you, sir, because you said that here last Monday on Folks Talking Sports. Yes.
Yeah, he was in Cleveland on Tuesday. They also talked to Kenny Atkinson again. They also talked to Micah Nori again. But I think the leader in the clubhouse is James Borrego, and it's just now getting it done.
Want to put a timetable on it?
Before the draft.
Okay. That's fair. The Pistons, and this is where I'm thinking. As soon as I saw it, hired or announced their hire, I guess. I don't know if they've announced, but I saw it. That Fred Vinson.
Yeah,
joining the staff, and I was like, well, that means Monty's gonna be back for a year.
Yeah, that's his guy.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, Monty's safe for a season.
Yep.
So I was like, well, okay. And yes, are the Lakers waiting until the finals are over? Yes, that's what most of us believe. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. Gibson, were you shocked, surprised when Mr. Danny Hurley said it was not a leverage move? And it was almost like he took offense to people saying that he leveraged the Lakers' offer to get more money from UConn.
All I know is the report said it was $32 million before his name surfaced as a Laker candidate, and now it's more than 50.
Yes. I want to play this, get your thoughts on it. I hope the volume is good. I've already posted it on my Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, but these are the final comments from head coach Kelvin Sampson from Thursday's media session. It's about, 3+ minutes.
Okay.
When you hear it and when it's done, I'm curious to get your thoughts.
Okay.
Here we go.
A learning experience, I think, for our fans and our coaches and our student athletes, that you just don't jump into Big 12 and think that you're on the level playing field with these teams. That's why we need to continue to build our donor support. We need to make some hard decisions on brick and mortar versus NIL. Things that we didn't have to think or worry about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you said, what's it going to look like in 5 years? Well, it's here, and here's what it looks like. Okay, what's it going to look like 5 years from now? The guys that can figure out what where the road is going and be forward thinkers and get outside the box. Don't get in the bunker and put your hands over your head, worried about getting hit. Get your ass out there and fight. Figure out how we're going to win this battle. To me, that's the only way that we're going to survive here. We got to fight. We got to fight for more donors. We've got to fight to get our fans more educated on what we want to accomplish and how we cannot do it without our donors and our boosters and our alumni. They are our lifeline, and we've got to come up with more ways to make it more appealing to come to our football games. I think our football team is going to grow and grow and grow with Willy. I'm looking forward to it, but we need to me, it starts this fall with filling that football stadium. We got to get butts and seats. That's got to get real. Our marketing people's got to get off their butts and figure out how we get butts and seats. It's like there's a lot of ways to win a basketball game other than making shots. If we're not winning, then let's figure out how to get people in those seats. Let's make it fun to come to football games. I roll in here most mornings about 5:55, 6 o'clock. Willie Fritz's car is already here. He's already here. His kids, I see them zooming by me with those little scooters all the time. They're working, man. His football team's working. Let's support them. Let's get some butts and seats. And we all have priorities that we have to take care of with our families. But if you have our programs, we sure appreciate it. But we do it for you. I know when we go to Dallas and we're playing Duke, or we're going to San Antonio playing Arizona, or we're in Pittsburgh playing Illinois, I can hear the pride in our Cougars. Our to have one of their teams at a national level, and we're going to keep working our tails off to remain there. But we need your help.
Your thoughts, sir?
I know, but before he mentioned Willie Fritz, as I'm listening, I'm like, I know Willie Fritz is like, thank you.
Yes.
I have an ally.
Yes.
But he's right. 100%. He's right. That you got football. I mean, for most Power 5 programs or Power 4 programs now, football is the straw that stirs the drink. And if you're not getting butts and seats at the football game, then everything else is going to suffer. It just is. So, and as he said, the Big 12 now, you got to put your big boy pants on. You got to get your donors. You got to get your people, your FOPs, as I like to call them, the friends of the program.
Mm-hmm.
Happy, and everybody from Blue Chips. You got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get prime example. And not to make this about us, but it's alumni week for Ohio State basketball this week, and I think I sent it to you last week.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Conley, for the second time, donated $100,000 to one of the collectives here for NIL at Ohio State. D'Angelo Russell came in town today, and my understanding is will shortly follow suit. But it's not just the players. It's not just former players.
Right.
That's just an example. But he's right. You got to get your donors. You got to get your donors, your FOPs on board. And it starts with football.
And disagreeing, Timothy, he's not Coach Sampson. If you took it that way, no. He demands more from marketing. And Timothy, thank you for being a consistent viewer of this show. I think you're a new viewer, so I just want to let you know. I've said this for years, what Coach Sampson has said. Willie has learned, as we have collaborated on these Folks Talking Sports episodes, of the plight of Houston Athletics marketing department.
Yep.
Willie, numerous times, has rolled his eyes when he's heard me and Andy or me and James or me and AD, whoever, talk about something at Houston Athletics. He's like, what? Come on. What? Yes. So what Coach Sampson said Thursday, he said to me privately in much more colorful language than that. But he said it publicly there Thursday, and I agree with Will. Coach Fritz, I'm sure. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for putting it out there publicly. The quotes have been in the Chronicle, have been in, I forget, Chris Baldwin. Chris writes for something. I'm sorry, Chris. But his paper, he's put it out there. Those quotes, those comments, folks have shared the video. Alums have shared the video that I posted on Facebook because it's true. I've said it for years. There are too many people too many alums that rather see the opponent play than their own alma mater, as in the Houston Cougars. This is big time, as Will said. This is put your big boy pants on. You talked about you wanted to be a power conference. Well, you wait to not in a power conference. You got to support the school. Support your alma mater. Support where you spent 4 or 5 years. Got your degree. I don't understand. I'm just confused how you got your degree from UH and then you don't want to support your university. If it was good enough for you to get the degree from there, I think it should be good enough for you to support your alma mater.
Agreed.
Flip side, marketing has to do a better job connecting and keeping in touch with the alums. I'm getting emails from the Houston Life Member Association asking me to join the Alumni Association, be a life member. I am a life member.
Wow.
I've been a life member for like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I have the bumper, it's on my bumper sticker on my car, spelled out. Houston Cougars Life Member Association.
Wow.
So why are you sending me that stuff now?
Stuff like that. Wow.
I mean, things like that. And I'll wrap it up in the closing moments of episode 128 of Folks Talking Sports. When I was a student at the University of Houston, I remember receiving the verbal slings and arrows when I was on the local sports talk shows, decrying the piss poor job marketing did promoting the football games that coming week. You'd walk around campus, Will, and you'd have no idea that a game was coming up on Saturday. None. So people are like, well, who was Kris? Who's he saying all that? And then when I told them I'm a student here. Oh, you go? Yes. Oh, they've gotten better since then. Took them years after I graduated to start putting signs up, putting marquees up and reminders, notes. Hey, we got a game that's coming Saturday against so-and-so, get your tickets, all those things. It's gotten better. Still has a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach Sampson going around campus to the student dorms, buying pizza for the students, telling them, hey, we got a game tomorrow. We got a game this week. We need you there. He did that in first year, year two. And now Fertitta Center is sold out and has a waiting list, but 2-3 years long.
That's great, Kris.
But that's not his job.
Yeah, right. I get it. But I guess for me, and forgive me, first world problems over here. My fault. Because what I'm about to say, I know it's going to be like, wait a minute, what? But I think the product would solve a lot of that.
Yes.
I think the product is your marketing. If it's a team that's worth your while to go see on a Saturday afternoon, I'm not going to need somebody to tell me that the football game is Saturday. I'm like, I got to go see the Cougars. Like, I got to go see the Buckeyes. So I think a lot of that is the product.
And that's fair. And the Cougs under Tom Herman, they were it. They were the it team in town.
Yeah.
No question. So, yes. And that is the last big crowd, sellout crowds, average attendance crowds were those Tom Herman teams.
He sounds familiar, Tom Herman.
Yes.
Tom Herman. Where did he come from?
But as Thrillo says, it's true to a point with Houston alums, to a point.
Mm-hmm.
But Houston alums have such a defeatist attitude, we've been down so long. We were held out of, we got passed over for the Big 12 28 years ago.
But you're here now.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. You complained for all those years about not being in the Big 12. Well, damn it, we are in the Big 12 now. So buy your tickets. The excuses are gone now.
Yep.
Buy your tickets, and they're not expensive. Okay? As Will knows, when I tell him the price, he's like, what?
Bro,
is that all?
Prices y'all told me. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Bro, listen.
So, yes, and let me be clear. This first year under Coach Fritz, the wins and losses, the wins probably won't be here this year. I doubt they make 500. But they're going to be better. They're going to be better coached. They're going to look like they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have a head coach toss players under the bus doing press conferences. Next season, they're going to get better. Coach Fritz had, I think, the last 2 weekends, he's had 15 recruits on campus each weekend.
Nice. That's what it's about.
Okay, that's what it's about. And he's showing them what the football ops building is going to look like once it's finished. He's on it. He's not the one to say, well, the class of 24, that ship sank. That ship sailed like the previous person did. Okay, he's on it. So it's just going to take him time to build it and build a solid winning foundation. So I'm saying, wrap it up. This season might go 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
So to the fans who do buy tickets this season and say, well, y'all told me to buy a ticket and they didn't win games. And then I'll just put my hands up. Okay, then what kind of alum are you then?
Let me say this. Go to the game. Go to the game.
Yes.
In seats, because I know a lot of people might buy the ticket and then they just don't go.
Right. So, yeah, in that part, Coach Sampson mentioned marketing does need to do a better job. And they have improved in the game day activities for the fans to get them at the stadium. Those are getting better, and those have gotten better, and they're getting better, continue to improve. But yes, buy your tickets, go to the game, support the Houston Cougars. And then year 2, they'll be better than they were in year 1. And the wins will continue. Coach Fritz is in it for the long haul. He wants to win on the P4 level. He's won every other level he's coached because he knows what the hell he's doing. And he doesn't take shortcuts. And he doesn't, how can I say this, Will? He doesn't blame others.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'm going to wrap it up.
All right.
Mr. Gibson, thank you for joining and your insight. I'm glad you got everything taken care of. But for those who do not know you, sir, let them know how they can get in touch with Mr. Willy Gibson.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Kris, as always, you can always find me on Twitter at WillGibson7. I'm still a contrarian. I won't call it what it is. It is Twitter at WillGibson7. Facebook, Will Knows, and that's across as IG and Threads, Will Knows Sports.
And you follow Folks Talking Sports, IG and Threads, Folks Talking Sports. If you still prefer Twitter, you can. Folks Talk Sports. For that, follow that as well. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. We are minutes away from the start of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. If you missed it, Mr. Gibson says the Mavs are going to win tonight and force a Game 6. And he said Mavs will win Game 6 and force a Game 7. I, on the other hand, say Boston's going to wrap it up tonight, Game 5, and win that 18th, right? It's 18th, right?
Yes.
18th championship in franchise history. Because if they don't, I agree with you then. If they don't, it's going to be a lot of lemon booty, as somebody likes to say. But Boston tonight wraps it up, and then we can talk about the draft and free agents and all that good stuff.
Yep.
So once again, for Mr. Willy Gibson, I am Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Thank you for watching us on Twitter, X, and on YouTube at the Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, but also on the new Folks Talking, the Folks Talking Sports YouTube channel. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe to both. Enjoy the game. We are proud to give you a lot of different sports. We talk WNBA, we talk NBA, college, Ohio State, the Ohio State. That's what we do here on Folks Talking Sports. So spread the word and keep this in mind. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.